Oh, hey there, Lightworkers. Today I am so excited because we have one of my really good friends on the $1 Million Lightworker. We've got the brilliant quantum cartographer herself, Jennifer Hough, and I am just waiting for her phone call. You may know her. She's got the founder of the Wide Awakening, creator of the Thriving Operating System, and author of international bestseller Unstuck. Oh, there she is now. Unstuck, the physics of getting out of your own way. Jen!
Woot woot! So great to be with you, Joy.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. We just don't get to have enough FaceTime together.
We don't, but every time we do, it's like we never left.
I know. It's so fun. It's so playful. So you are all about awakening people's innate abilities, assisting them in shifting from survival to thriving. And I love how you actually kind of give the coordinates for people to navigate their own joy.
Yes.
Plus, another thing I just adore about you, Jen, is that you make quantum physics sound like a trip to the local farmer's market with a best friend. I mean, you make it so easy. And as you know, quantum physics is kind of my playground too, but definitely in less scientific language. I just kind of distill it down to consciousness creates form. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
I get it. Well, the thing is that we're all made of those quantum particles, right? So we all know about quantum physics because we're living examples of it. But the problem is most people think that it can't be practical, and it is so practical. In fact, not only is it practical, if you can actually understand the smallest parts of you, then you basically it's like I always think of it like the greatest stage is the biggest Russian doll, right? The Russian doll, that's the big one that basically creates all the rest of them, is the one that sets the stage for everything else that happens in our lives. And so when we start to understand that, we can realize that we're basically never not manifesting. Like, we're abundant. It's just what we're abundant in. People always talk about abundance consciousness. The thing is, you're never not abundant.
No, right.
Right?
Absolutely.
But sometimes we're abundant in things that we don't prefer.
Well said. And now you know why I love having you as someone to reflect back and talk to. So well said. So I have a couple business questions for you, Jen.
Go.
How do you map or intuitively guide a client's transformation process? And how has that evolved in your business over the years?
It's a good question. You know, I'm just gonna really acknowledge you.
Oh,
Because there was a time where you said to me, Jennifer Huff, when you there really aren't very many people teaching. Well, actually, there's at the time there was literally nobody teaching innate
right.
abilities, like the human superpowers that are formed because of our shifts in awareness to get us even more on the leading edge and even more expansive and even more flourishing. And you said that to me, and you said, I really, really like that. It's something that that I think people will totally resonate with because it has them be able to flourish and flow. So after that conversation with you, I didn't forget. I didn't forget that. And after that conversation with you, I said to myself, that is an integral part of the journey. So when we started integrating that into the journey in an even more deep way, that's when our client journey started to shift even more. Um, so the client journey started way back when I was a nutritionist in a very practical way. Before I was a nutritionist, I was, of course, an economist and for a big multinational. And I went from being an economist to a nutritionist only because I almost died of toxic exposure, and doing cleanses and changing my diet changed my life. But then I realized that I started studying epigenetics, and I started studying psychoneuroimmunology, and I started studying with physicists and biophysicists and quantum physicists. And I'm like, okay, so if we don't understand the smallest particles of us, from the how the quantum physical part of us is connected to our biology, is connected to my brain, is connected to my emotions, then I can never transcend my genetics and create my health. I needed to build a bridge. So I realized that you know how people say your mess is your message? I'm sure you know that, Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mess literally is my message, because I had to go, and I think a lot of people forget that the place of your most passion, like the place of my most passion, is how I saved my own life. But saving my life was kind of like surviving better. And I didn't want to just survive better. I realized that there were people out there that were in overflow constantly, not very many, but I started to dissect how they lived their lives. And I started to marry it with the physics of the way they lived their lives, the basically where they put their attention, how they spent their mental energy, how they were focused. And a big thing that sets us apart on the client journey is that we're not focused on fixing anyone's brokenness, because you can spend the rest of your life looking for problems. And when you do, physics will follow those breadcrumbs. Like the smallest particle of you will find everything wrong with you, and you'll be consistently thinking that if I just excavate the last living lifetime that I ever had, a belief that didn't work, then I'll finally get there. But the problem is the laws of physics say that that can't be so. You actually have to focus on expanding forward into who you really are. And from that higher consciousness, you'll transmute hundreds of old beliefs at a time. It's kind of revolutionary. Um, and so that's kind of what sets the journey that we take our clients on. That's what sets it really apart, that they're consistently focused on their becoming, and from their higher perspectives, they shift. And it goes from first realizing how physics works, and then we take them on the journey of their superpowers to understand how to be masterful
Mm.
and how to flourish using the laws of physics in every area of your life. And then we have a really high end program where I work with people individually, either just in one on ones or in one on ones, and taking them on trips all over the world to understand themselves in a year-long immersion called Flight School. And yeah, at the end of that journey, you're no longer surviving better. You're not interested in surviving better. You're really in this beautiful dance with all that is, rather than in a wrestling match. So, yeah.
I love that. I'm just sitting here thinking, we need to talk more often.
Right?
This is awesome. Yeah. I mean, we could do a three-legged race really well, Jen.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
so. I think that third leg would turn those two legs next to each other would just turn into one.
Yeah, and we both have long legs, so definitely we
Yeah,
would win, right?
it's true. It's true. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I hope I get some of your running genes by doing that,
I hope I still have some.
though.
So that is a great answer. I really love that. And I love you bringing it back to how much control we actually have in how our life is turning out, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are just not a victim of the circumstances.
And it's so easy to be right now. I mean, there are so many circumstances that we could focus on where we could be oh, dude, seriously. I just had poison ivy. It's like I went out, speaking of wrestling, it's like I went out and deliberately jumped in a patch of like poison oak or something. And the interesting thing is I could have been a victim of that, but by using the tools, oh my God, I can't even tell you, literally it's changed my life. Because in the laws of physics, we're always moving forward. We're always evolving, even in our businesses, right? Like, you
Right.
know this.
Yeah.
We're constantly in our becoming. But as soon as you take something into victim mode, as soon as you're acting towards it like it happened to you, now, and by the way, it's so easy with migraines and things that get your attention, like poison ivy, to be a victim. And migraines are what I used to have, another Olympic athlete level training that I had. But being able to focus, whether something is physical or something's literally blowing up in your world, like economics or politics or all of the things that are crazy out there, imagine it's not even about resilience. Resilience is still surviving better. It's a good thing. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's awesome. But what I'm saying is imagine being so connected when you're in your business, like so connected, or in your love life or in any part of your life, so divinely intolerant to anything less than what someone who is granted a life deserves.
Right.
Like literally so impervious and just it's beyond resilience. It's so magnetic to what's expanding that it's not that you ignore it or you put your head in the sand. It's literally that you would. Now this is crazy talk, Joy. This is crazy talk.
Bring it
I don't think I've
on.
ever I don't think I've ever said this to you actually, because it's one of our innate abilities, speaking of which.
Uh-huh.
It's as though one of our innate abilities that most of us haven't mastered, and this is what I got to master even more with this poison ivy, is to redirect, is to use the polarity or use the so-called problem as the energy. You just use that energy to refocus you in the direction of the solutions, and all of a sudden you open to the laws of entanglement. Say that there's always a solution when there's problem. There can't not be, or the universe would implode on itself. So if there is a solution, why would I keep focusing on the problem? And what powerful circumstances we're in now to become like Uber creators, and that's what I felt like started to happen to me. I can't believe that I'm talking about poison ivy, but literally it's such a great example. Whatever everyone else's poison ivy is, or imagine that you have an automatic ability to refocus like that, not in 5 minutes, not in 10 minutes, and not in a week, but actually almost immediately. Like that is Olympic level consciousness training. It's so cool. So it's an amazing innate ability. Takes some practice, but it's an amazing innate ability.
Well, and one I did see that Facebook post this morning as I was and I read through and I thought, oh my gosh, but it's something else that I really admire about you, and I know you and I come from the same school when it comes to this, is
Yeah.
full transparency. Like, you have your speed bumps. I have my speed bumps. I mean, I've gone through, just because you told that story, I have to share this.
Oh, I can't wait.
So we, out of the blue, like 60 days ago, we thought we should probably get a warranty for all of our appliances in our house, because we live in an old house that we're remodeling. So we got the warranty, and you wait 30 days and then the warranty's valid. So like day 33, our water heater goes out and floods the basement.
No.
And then
No.
day 36, the air conditioning, the HVAC system goes out. And at first I'm just sitting there thinking, why am I creating
they're not going
this?
to believe me.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I creating this? And then I think, then I'm reminded, and this is sort of your mess is in the message, right? Because
Yeah.
we even, I'm assuming that you have to stop and ask yourself at some point, why is this happening, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like
Well,
it's part of the tools that we have. We're still human and we're still learning,
yeah.
But like the poison oak, I'm thinking to myself, wow, it was so insightful that I bought that warranty, right?
Yeah.
And we had that for coverage, and it saved us like $10,000-$12,000.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
so
but
good.
then I was talking to another spiritual leader the other day,
Uh-huh.
and there's a lot happening, I'm sure, with my
Yes.
business, with your business. There's just a lot. There's a lot of energy moving right now
Yes.
in the world in
Yep.
general,
There
and
is.
so I had some things that I was, leaning in towards trying to solve, as you said, and she pointed out to me. She said, and this is why I'm saying this to you about the poison ivy or the poison oak. She said to me, "Wow, Joy." You must have some really amazing things right there on the
Yep.
periphery, because
Yep.
you took out, like, your frequency has gotten so big that the house can't contain it and it needs to upgrade the appliances. And how insightful that you actually had the warranty. Now, did I plan it that way?
Yep.
No. you know?
Yeah, but well, you did on a quantum physical level. But the
Right.
thing is, here's the thing, dude. I was going to say the exact same thing, by the way, that literally when we go through evolutions, things have to upgrade. And I was starting to get a little autoimmune issue. And what was
Ah.
really interesting, the poison ivy stopped it. So you got to
Wow.
get things are always happening for us. They're always happening for us. It might look like the worst thing in the world, but as soon as we orient ourselves to the fact that we're on a spiral flying forward, anything that happens to you, anything that happens to you is really happening for you. It
Yeah.
has to be happening for you because the entire, I don't know, the entire solar system is moving through space at 100 million miles, 100 million miles an hour. We're going around the sun at a speed, but we're not going around the sun. We're actually spiraling through space, spiraling around the sun. So your DNA is a spiral, like to the very biggest part of us that's in a suit flying through space, right? To the very smallest part of us, there is forward momentum. We're not going in circles. So even though something looks like it's like, oh no, not again, or here I go backwards again, it's not backwards. It's actually a catalyst to a new awareness, and also so often upgrading your computer, upgrading your appliances, and yeah, I'm constantly upgrading our business. What's so funny, Joy, is that I never teach the same thing
Yeah.
ever because I get bored. I bet you we have this in common too. I get bored. Like I want to be on the spiral and I want to help other people be on the spiral. Most of the people I work with are visionary leaders like you. So I just work with visionary leaders actually, you told me your mission before we started. We do completely different things. You help them in one way, and how I help them is to understand what their superpowers are and be able to fly forward and embody a way of being that has the dream that's dreaming them be completely inevitable energetically. It's like energetically and in their everyday being practices, right? So
Right.
it's it's a visionary is constantly creating upon themselves. So I love staying up to speed with the speed of consciousness. Therefore, I love that I just got rid of a really nice car. And with these times of great change, I wanted not so much of a nice car, and much like you, like the warranty, I got a much more practical car. I could have got a really expensive car, but I realized that it's like, no, I want a really practical car because in times of great change, I want something that's going to be like bulletproof, like really awesome that I don't have to run around and get fixed all the time. So, um, it's it's just interesting times.
Well,
Interesting
and
times.
one thing that sort of always amazes me is how much people will avoid change. I mean, change is happening all the time. It's
Mm.
inevitable, it's just part of us being human. It's part of evolution, but people dig in when it comes to change.
Imagine, there's a saying I use with my clients, Joy. It goes something like this: falling in love with the unknown will transcend your need for courage. So think about that.
Ah, I love
Falling
that.
in love with the mystery of life. In other
Yeah.
words, the dream that's dreaming you that you don't even know, that's quote unquote, or better
Yeah.
than what you even thought you could have. Falling in love with that mystery, if you fall in love with it, you literally don't need to be afraid. Therefore, you don't need to be, because the orientation to life, your orientation to life is more towards the reality of how it is, which is you are constantly becoming, and consciousness is constantly delivering you what's next, right? Because of your yearnings. Every time you have a problem, new solutions are launched into the quantum physical field. And as you become happier, as we become happier, as we become more fulfilled, as we move on with what we're up to, Joy, I have seen this so many times in business, in love, in people's bodies. The We get the booby prize life when we value control and predictability. And I understand it. We've all been through situations that seemed monumentally unsafe.
Yeah.
And so I get it. It's not like I'm saying, "Oh, come on, snap out of it." That's not that's not what we teach either. But when we can build a bridge from that place, like just let yourself imagine, like I just having me imagine myself being so in love with the unknown, because if life is happening for you, of course you'd be in love with the unknown.
Right.
And I'll tell ya, it's a whole different way of living your life, but you got to build a bridge to get there, honestly. It's because at first most people still have things that they are from the past. But again, the past keeps you going in a circle and the entire universe is moving in a spiral forward. So it doesn't feel very good. Imagine that everything we ever launched into the future is perpetually calling us forward. So the more we resist, the worse it feels in our body or in our lives. The more we try to keep it the same.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
you should see all the things that I'm calling forward.
Oh, I
I've got
imagine. I
so
imagine,
many
Joy. I'm
so many projects, and one of my big
dude,
life
I
lessons
hear
is
you.
to not feel overwhelmed, because with age comes wisdom, right? And
Yep.
you start to look back on all of the things that may have taken a year or two, or maybe even longer. And, I keep a journal where I write down my 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year goals.
Mhm.
But what's really
Yep.
great about that is you look back, you forget all the
I
things that you've done and you sort of take it for granted. But at one
I
point, it
know.
was on the list of things to do, right?
Right. And like, isn't it crazy? So actually celebrating the things. It's great that you write them down because you can go back and celebrate. It's like, "Oh yeah, I did that. I did that even more or better than I thought I would."
Right.
Right? Or it took a right-hand turn and it turned out to be this instead of what I thought. And so there's something around when we actually celebrate, like, man, every quarter on our team, we do this meeting where we actually, and it's so funny because on on meetings with the team, so often it's like, okay, what's next? What do we need to fix? What's broken? What system do we need to put in place? All these things, right? And we think about all these things that we need to put in place, but there's no conversation about celebrating what we've done right. So once and we do celebrate what we've done right. And I deliberately make sure I acknowledge those things. But once a quarter, we actually dive in and basically acknowledge everything we put into place and all the things that we did. And what that does in the land of consciousness, in the land of those quantum physical particles, when we put attention on how far we've come and the things that we're celebrating and all the evolutions that we've made, what you do is you tell consciousness, you tell those quantum physical particles, because of your attention to it, that you want more of that, more things to celebrate, more things to evolve into. And all of a sudden, I mean, life just gets, it's so funny how the 2 weeks after that quarterly meeting, I get more clients, I get more, it's so crazy. It's so obvious too. It's nuts,
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite sayings is gratitude is the abracadabra of the universe. And I
right?
think in celebrating those wins, you feel that gratefulness, that
Mm-hmm.
gratitude for actually achieving or solving or whatever it is. One of the things that we do on our team is and I do it with my clients too, is
Mm-hmm.
weekly wins. And I'm always surprised at how difficult it is for people to remember.
I
Like
know.
I walk them through. Like if you have the smallest win, keep a Post-it note and
I
write them
know.
down.
Yeah.
But even just like searching once a week for, thinking back, well, what was my win last week? I mean, it could
Yeah.
be that, I had great client calls. I mean, it could be things that we
Yeah.
actually just kind of take
Oh,
for
yeah.
advantage.
Practical. And you know what's weird, Joy, is that people, I notice, I used to notice it a lot in myself. So a big focus of our work is embodiment, meaning, when you learn to ride a bike, if you just explained riding a bike to someone and then threw them on a two-wheeler, they would fall over and have to go to the hospital, right?
Yeah.
So, but you put training wheels on first and they get the experience of balance until finally they've embodied it. It's literally their new normal. You can never forget. Even when you're 80 years old, you can pop someone on a bike and they'll still get what it is to be in balance. And so the technology of our work is about embodying stuff. And the thing that most people have embodied, remember how I said earlier, you've got an abundance.
Right.
It's just what you've got an abundance of. I mean, you're proving the abundance of the universe,
Right.
but it depends on what you're proving. So, for instance,
Just look
like,
around, right?
don't you notice that most people, and I've done this too. I'm sure you have too, and it's kind of like we're focused forward on I'm not there yet. I got to get there. Like
Yeah.
until I'm there, whatever the there is, it could be about our physical bodies. It could be about it could be about our financial situation. It could be in our relationship. There's so much, well, until I get there, then, and when we're in that orientation to life, your orientation to life is not your intention, your actual action based on your orientation is what those quantum physical particles is listening to, right?
Yeah.
So when you're oriented to it, like, oh, like with your house, oh, it's not done. Oh, I can't wait till the kitchen is done. Oh my God, let's work 8 hours on meh, 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 the flooring. And we're always, I can't wait till, instead of, oh my God, we got half the floor done today. Not, oh my God, we don't have the whole floor done yet. And I know it sounds very simplistic, like glass half full, glass half empty, but most people, so we've been trained. We were trained in school. until you get an A+, you're not there yet. We were trained in every way in sports and, that you're not enough until.
Yeah,
And yeah,
it's so amazing because like we don't realize how much of that is just ingrained, right? Like it's just something that we've accepted. I want to give you an example. So
yeah.
as you know, I'm a new grandmother, and
Yay,
and my daughter
joy.
had her first baby
Mhm.
a few months ago, and her husband is from Spain, so culturally things are a little different than what I might be used to, or even my daughter. But they're
Yeah.
trying to, or they are incorporating both cultures. And the first one that came up was potty training. And
Oh,
so they have this newborn baby that can't hold her head up yet, and they're potty training her in the hospital before they've even left, because
get
that's
out
how.
of here.
I'm serious. Like this child is now, let's see, June, July, August, like about 6 weeks old, I think, and she is able to cue her mom. So her mom gets what they call the top hat, which is just like this little plastic, it looks like a top hat, a plastic top hat, that her mom then sits her on, and she uses the toilet basically. She's already potty and pooped trained.
Wow.
And yet, like when she first told me this, because I was going to go stay with her, I did go stay with her for a month, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, how am I going to be able to do this? But other cultures do this all the time. In fact, in the
Interesting.
United States or in, Western civilizations, we're really the only ones who use diapers. Most cultures have
Yeah.
babies running around naked and they're potty trained.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
Imagine how many landfills would be saved if we just started doing it that
right?
way. Yeah,
Right? Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. But the idea, like when I first heard this, I had to shift my thinking, like I had to go from,
Yep.
yes, that can happen, tell me how that works, to you can imagine, right, what I was thinking. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be peed and pooed all over, like
Yeah,
I need to
yeah,
not bring my
totally.
best clothes, um,
Yep.
but yet they had it down, and it took a while, and they're probably 95% there now. They've learned her
Wow.
cues.
So that's the kind of thing, right? You don't know what you don't know, and
Right.
everything is possible. So and that must have been like an eye opener for your daughter. And how cool, like how that's a total or better. I live for or betters, honestly. And I just live for things that are beyond. That's why I'm not a big fan of the terminology of intention. Not
Mm,
that I don't believe in your intention, but I think it's much bigger than we give it credit. We're a walking intention. Like everything we do communicates something to consciousness.
right.
Everything we do, every act we take, and our orientation to life when we take it. So in every moment, we have the opportunity to change our orientation to life. And then what happens is sort of nonlinear solutions will come as we step out of thinking that everything's got to be safe and predictable. Like I said, falling in love with the mystery, etc.
Yeah.
And so that's something that your daughter wasn't expecting, right? Probably, I suspect.
Well,
Until, yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, that's so cool. Of course you can do that. Of course a baby can do that. Of
right.
course."
Yeah.
And so it's not being so quick to assume that, dude, we were just teaching innate abilities. Another one of our innate abilities. So in the laws of physics, this is just reminding me of something we were just talking about. In the laws of physics, you start to understand that that biggest Russian doll that creates the next stage, which maybe was the universe, which creates the universe, then creates worlds, and planets. And then from there, there was life forms. And so each stage that gets created creates the next stage. It's like each Russian doll creates the next parallel piece. And the funny thing is that in physics there is no time. The potential of everything exists all at once. So here we are living in 3D with a construct called time. But if you imagine that construct called time, I know this is pretty deep, but in the now, in the now, which is all we have, because we're not living in yesterday right now, and we're not living in tomorrow right now.
Right.
The only conversation that can happen with Joeaux Robey is actually to, it's just what's happening right now. I can only have a conversation with you in a series of nows, right?
Right.
So think of it like, those books that you flip the flippy things
Oh
on the
yeah.
books and like the horse runs,
Yeah.
like the picture changes.
Uh-huh.
So think of it like like trillions of stacks of potentialities in every moment for every person. What if we didn't have to go from the hoof being up to the hoof being down as the neck part and then it's back up again and then it's down again, What if we didn't have to do that? What if you could just leap to the horse standing on its hind legs? Because in the now, that part of the flippy book exists. You could just plug into that part of the book because now is all there is. That's what exists in quantum physics.
Right.
So, that's kind of the the premise is that you can actually embody quantum leaps like your baby. Like, why, what oh, let's train her 6 months earlier then. No, you don't have to go to 6 months earlier. You could literally train it from birth. Like, it's
Right.
crazy, a crazy thought, but makes sense to me. And that's like quantum leaping in those, and I'm all about everything is quantum right now, right? We're inventing quantum computers. They're not quite available to everyone yet. There's blockchain, which is leapt security around money. There's crypto. I mean, cryptocurrencies. It's not a linear movement from paper money to crypto, right? It's like a quantum leap. So
Right.
this is the time of quantum leap. That's why it's so invaluable to learn these skills right now, because it keeps you up with the pace of what's happening in humanity. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I love how, these young kids just it's like a no-brainer. They just
It's like
grasp
they're
it.
wired for
I
it.
know, they're like, why
I
use
love it so much.
diapers? It's like
Oh
that's
my God.
ridiculous.
They're a total activation of what's possible for everyone that's over, let me say 40.
Yeah.
If you're over 40, these are all things that anyone can learn to embody. You don't have to wait until you die and come back to be like that,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah,
Yeah. I,
it's such a cool time to be alive. Oh my God.
I agree. I mean, I think of it as that generation being the ones that were born into the internet and lots of information, right? And then
Yeah.
the next generation born into AI, where things you just ask and they appear, right? It's like, I personally find that fascinating as I'm watching these kids.
Well, here's a quantum leap. I just realized there's a quantum leap. I have this friend, she's 80 years old, and she's using AI like a champion. Like, I mean, she basically has an entire team, Joy. This is so good. She has trained an entire team. I took what she said and I took it to the next level. I created a Brene Brown kind of culture member of my team, but it's a GPT. It's like a person on my team. And then I created a Simon Sinek like visionary leadership trainer guy on my team. And then I created this other I can't remember all the members of my team because I did it last week. So I'm like, oh my God, we have 5 new members of our team, and they're all like, they are helping us with all, like, that's a quantum leap. And then I realized, oh, I'm like my 80-year-old friend who calls herself a futurist. And I'm like, oh, I'm kind of a futurist because I'm always doing that, right? I'm a futurist about what I teach. So I was even thinking, gosh, how does that come into yet another quantum leap in business? Like, not even being afraid to identify differently, you know,
Right, right.
identify myself differently so that it it gets ever closer to who each of us really are. And that's what I love too about you doing what you're doing in business, because that's like your reinvention, right?
Right.
And it's it's where the fun is, dude. And passion and fun are the language of the universe. That's the language.
Absolutely.
If you're in your passion and you're in your fun, you know you're on the spiral.
Absolutely.
And every time we do it, every time I do it, at least, there, like last week, something happened with this poison ivy where I shifted gears. Like, I'm so grateful for that quantum leap. And I had people that I hadn't talked to in years reaching out to do one-on-ones with me out of the blue, just from the relationships that I had built with them. And I hadn't had that, like, it wasn't just one person, it was 3 or 4 people. And I thought, wow, my orientation to life is shifting, and I'm this incredibly more receptive vehicle, you know? Even even you, like a couple of weeks ago when we got back in touch after a long time of just, you know, being busy with life, that was also part of the evolution. It's like, oh, I love Joy so much. I forgot how much I love her, right?
Yeah.
So when we shift, we get to frequencies where we let in new things. That's why I like that quantum leapy idea. Like, I've never called myself a futurist. That's a quantum leap conversation, right?
Well, you're totally a futurist. I actually have a futurist question for you as
Okay.
Jennifer, the economist, and Jennifer, the spiritual
Uh,
leader.
yeah.
So, since we are talking about AI,
Yeah.
and we're starting to see, I've experienced it in my own business, the ability to, well, we're seeing it in corporate, you know, in a huge way, but they're calling it pancaking, where,
Yeah.
you know, now one person can do the entire work of like 14 people, was the example I saw, like in a marketing department. What do you know, you know me, Jen, I'm a Pollyanna. I always believe something really
I know.
great is going to come out of it. What
Yeah.
do you see that's really awesome that's going to come out of that pancaking? Because there's going to be a lot of fear, right? You know, people are going to be let go, and you're going to have to really know your role in order to write those prompts and create those agents. So, what do you see the future of business in terms of employees and AI?
So there's 3 places to go with that question. One is, first of all, those 5 people that I invented, those 5 avatars that I invented on my team, didn't have me fire anyone on my team, right? But what happens is my entire actual physical team can now utilize this advanced team and can amplify their productivity, their vulnerability, their ability to be more, let's say, connected in their creation, so their receptivity to new ideas, because this new team happened. So now, instead of letting people go, you just get, you know, exponentially more productive.
Yeah.
So what you thought you could do before, now you can do so much more. So yeah, you could lower your costs. But imagine if everyone on the team became an expert in how to utilize AI to cause really like they became experts in creativity, because that's what happens with AI. So this is
Right.
the second piece I wanted to share. That think of AI more like you just got, you're a painter and you used to just have paintbrushes and paint. But now they're giving you tinfoil and, cotton fluff and sparkles. And now you can make a multidimensional painting. Maybe you could even use a computer and you could make a multidimensional holographic painting to, you know what I mean? Like, so we're only limited now, and when quantum computers become available, I mean, we better get used to thinking this way, because when
Right.
quantum computers are available, I mean, what's possible is only limited by someone's imagination. So you can start to solve some of these environmental issues that we have. You can start to like really solve them. You can take the biggest problems we have. And what I love is that most visionaries are Pollyanna,
Yes.
Joy. So you are not alone, because you have to be Pollyanna to be taking problems and using them to catalyze you to what's possible. A visionary is always in the future. So imagine not being anchored to the past because you're too inspired by the future. That is someone who's innately somewhat Pollyanna. So, so imagine that at your fingertips, and we are born creators. Now, are there some people that live in fear? Are there some people that are very loud that live in fear? Sure.
Are there
But
some
imagine that,
networks that are very loud that live in fear?
right? Imagine that we all, the majority of us, that are willing to understand the creativity that's ensuing. Imagine that the majority of us, and it is the majority, become inspired to use this creativity to create a world forward, moving into, human beings now getting creative on a different level. People are afraid that, oh my god, now we're going to be addicted to our computers. No, we have to land things in 3D, which means that things actually have to get made, which means three-dimensional reality is, we're going to have a lot to quote unquote do because of our beingness shift. So we're going to be in the world coordinating things with other human beings at a much more epic level because of what we invent of what there is to do. So that's the second piece, is that the people who fall in love with creativity and co-creativity are the ones that are going to win. And we are going to, it's not about how many people are going to lose their jobs. It's about how many people fall in love with the creativity and fall in love with the technology. And then all those people and their children get redirected to create at such a friggin' epic level. I imagine that in very short amount of time, we will be the Jetsons, like Star Wars is not, star travel is not that far off,
Yeah.
because we can think more epically. And the third thing about AI is it's causing us all to be more visionary. And more visionaries cannot be a bad thing,
That's
because we can
interesting.
ideate more,
Yeah, I hadn't
because we
thought
could
about
do
it that
more.
way. Yeah, that's a really
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah, yeah, because it's allowing people to step out of, like, dude, there are there are more 25-year-old millionaires per capita than any other time in our history, because they're using AI to do stuff that we never dreamed of. And I was watching one of them last night and I was just smiling going, look at that kid go. I mean, look at him go. He's making, in 2 hours, he has an entire business that, who knows, it could be $1 billion for all I know. And I'm
Yeah,
like, wow, that's cool.
that is a great to basically represent this conversation and all conversations with you, Jen. I mean, every time I talk to you, I always feel uplifted. And I hope likewise you feel the same, because I think that that's something
Always.
that we reflect for one another. Is there any one last comment that you'd like to share with the $1 Million Lightworker audience about your work, or how they can learn more about you, or any programs that you have coming up?
I would say that some of the foundations of our work are get out of your own way and innate abilities. Embodying that is what gets you to 1 million, 10 million. I mean, wherever, there's no limit, but it's the beingness shift that matters so much, and everyone can embody it. Everyone can have alchemy as their default state, where everything, what they dreamt becomes the booby prize.
I love
There's a
that.
dream that's dreaming them, and literally, and they can go to agentsofawakening.com and sign up for 30 days free of our community, and they can do a get out of your way, and they can do the first 3 innate abilities at no charge. It's like, and they can hang out. They can even we do a monthly call. They get that first monthly call with me free, and they can ask me questions directly. I mean, I am definitely a quantum physical being tapping into the hologram, and so I literally channel stuff about all the people that ask questions, and they could be one of them. So I would jump into that and start understanding what the beingness, since I work with visionaries, you know, they can start to understand what those beingness shifts are. Because for me, it's all about productivity and efficiency. Who wants to work in an old metaphysical and quantum physical operating system when you can literally embody how those 20-year-olds are?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So that's what I would say. Like, lean in to your evolution. I think the biggest thing is joy, and I think you do this. I think we both do this. Yet another place where we zen, where we meet, which is, I think we both get extremely excited about our becoming.
Yes.
And we're always we're facing forward, and we love to become. It's not like so many of, I remember 20 years ago, I would get clients that would say all the time, "Oh my God, when is this when do I stop learning about myself? It's too much. It's so much," and I'm like, no, that's life. Like, the instant you stop learning about yourself and you stop becoming, you literally are on the path of leaving the planet.
Right.
So, like, lean in and have fun with it. And these days, my God, the amount of productivity and efficiency you can have by leaning into the stuff that we're talking about today, geez Louise.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Jen. I so appreciate you, and I hope you'll come back.
Let's do it. It'd be so fun.
Yeah,
I'm in.
absolutely.
Love you, Joy. Thank you for doing what you're doing, because I know so many people, I mean, I feel it in our work too. There's so many people that are being catalyzed to things that will change the world. And just thank you for bringing the possibility that it's can be real, to the forefront. I just really appreciate what you're doing here.
Well, thank you. And I've always loved your work, and I appreciate what you're doing as well. And say hello to the team for me.
I will. I will. I love this full circle of this interview. It's so fun.
Yeah. Well, let's chat again real soon, all right?
Absolutely. Love you, dude.
Okay, bye-bye. Such an amazing light worker. And for all of you light workers out there, remember, our mission is to create $100 million impact light workers. And if your soul right now is saying that's you, book a call with us on my calendar at solopreneur.com/discovery, and let's find out what you are passionate about. Because the world doesn't need just your light. The world needs your light to beam